Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Brace yourselves because I got a big one for you today in terms of dreams. Before I get into that, a couple of things. First off, I've been listening to this channel called Bardcore, where they remake modern songs in medieval styles and sometimes even in Old English and Old Norse and things like that, and it's really interesting. And they made a remake of Dio's Rainbow in the Dark, and so somebody commented down below that they said Ronnie James Dio would have loved this or something like that. And so, kind of as a joke, I replied, "Of course, he does love it. He's seen it in the afterlife. He's still alive and well," or something of that nature. And somebody else replied by saying, there is no YouTube in the afterlife." I'm like, okay, and he seemed totally serious too. So I'm like, you know what? I think there is YouTube in the afterlife. I've seen it's called Spirit Tube, dude. Just look it up, okay? And the Pope could even look at Instagram when he enters the afterlife. There's a catch, though. He's going to be surrounded by his demon friends and his little reptile lords, but surrounded by them, he's allowed to look at Instagram. So, anyway, I'm getting a little bit. Anyway, so I'm sure you guys heard about this monolith in Utah, right? And it's very peculiar. How many of you know that the coordinates of where it's located are something like 109 by 666 degrees west or whatever it is? So there's a 666 in there. Interesting to note that it was also found in Arches National Park. Arch, gateway, portal, there's definitely a reference to it. Do I think that it was set up by aliens? No. I think it was people, but what kind of people they were was another story. Now, to answer that, I seriously got an answer to my prayer. I saw this video, and I'm going to share it down below. And this is like a gold mine of information. And it pertains to this monolith very much so. And it's by Whiteboard Gematria, but he is kind of playing over Bill Cooper's and other people's videos. And for you guys who don't know the late Bill Cooper, then you should, because he was an extraordinary man. Okay, enough about that. I'll share it down below. I want to mention that Bill Cooper references the birth of a new sun. So, sun as an S-U-N, not S-O-N. And he says it's Jupiter, which I thought was really interesting. So, I'm going to beat the dead horse for a second, going back to Pet Goat, where we see an exploding sun at the end. And then, is it really our sun, or is that a new sun being born? That I've talked about that a while ago in my much older videos, but definitely it's something to take note of, and I find it fascinating. Okay, now to the dream. So I was in like a basketball court, very reminiscent to my middle school basketball court where I went to in Arizona. And there was like some sort of auditions taking place for a band or for musicians. So I was actually sitting, there was a stage in this it wasn't a basketball court, it looked like a basketball court. So a similar type of hardwood floors, etc., etc. And there was a stage, right? So I was sitting, and coming and going would be these musicians, and they would go up on stage and they would play their set. And every time they would play, I would not like what I was hearing. I was not interested. It was blah. So I would just keep booing them off stage and setting new people up who would come in, and this would just keep going on for a while. And then a new group of people came in. I remember it was a particularly beautiful blonde lady who was the singer, and there was a few other members, and they started playing this very enticing, hypnotic music that lured me in. I cannot even describe what it was like. Imagine a mishmash of Pink Floyd, psychedelic rock with the Doors, with the Source Family Band, the Source Family Cult Band, with a combination of other things I've never even heard before. It was just beautiful, right? And I loved it. And I went up there on stage and I started playing with them. And I got into the mode and I got into the groove, and something hit me. Something snapped. I snapped out of it. And then a sudden kind of sense of doom came over me, right? And so I started to kind of start walking off the stage. And then the blonde singer told me in crystal clear words that I remember in perfect clarity. She said she said twice. First, she said, "You are not allowed to leave the mind control." And so I would kind of be lured back in, play a little bit, and then I would go back out. And then she turned around again and said, "You are not allowed to leave the MK Ultra mind control." And at that point, I drop my guitar, I run off stage, and I'm in a panic. And I bolted out the door, and I remember it was a pouring rain outside. I woke up with this cold sweat, drenched in sweat. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am very much a music connoisseur, and I've listened to very, very dark bands. Even today, I'm enticed by some darker music, German industrial, gothic, heavy metal. But I used to listen to a lot of really crazy stuff like Mayhem and Dimmu Borgir, Norwegian black metal bands. I've since kind of started to let that go finally, because I do realize that music does certainly have an effect on you. It can have an effect on your very soul. So, having said that, it is important to be careful what you listen to. And this is coming from a guy that's covered lots of dark music on this very channel. But I'm gonna be careful after this dream, I'll tell you that much. And so this is kind of like, for me, step 2 out of the extraction of the prior dream that wasn't a dream, the extraction of the metallic substance from my mouth. I feel like this is stage 2. And now I have to sit here and wonder if I was ever involved in some kind of mind control. Because if I was, just like the alien abduction thing, I have no recollection and no memory of any such things. I have a friend named Matt who claims he is a mind control victim. It's just a claim, nothing more. But he claims that he has memories coming back to him of being in some kind of mind control program. But let's take that with a grain of salt. So I just found it to be really interesting, and I would love to know what you guys think. I certainly feel different yet again, despite the fake white sun with its microwave qualities again, which, if they're trying to cover up our dying sun so that they could birth the new sun, that could be an explanation as to why the sun is like that, just so you know. Assuming that the universe doesn't work the way we've been told, which obviously that is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't. Anyway, yeah, that's all. I'm gonna really think about this one. But yeah, I've meditated on this and I feel different yet again. I'm gonna share the link to that video you guys absolutely should see down in the comments, and I'll see you later.